The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison, and Jess Navarez.
Hello. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, and we got a special guest in the stew with us today, our lovely intern, Lidiana Reyes. See, I didn't mess up the last name.
Yes, thank you.
Let's go. I didn't.
Amazing.
Thank God, I know. I was kind of worried. But no, Lidiana, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you, girl.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about football.
Okay.
Yes,
Queen. Yes, straight to the point.
Excited to have you on here.
Yes. Well, we can start with locker room. Jess, you made it to locker room today. Talked to Tyler Biadasz. What's some things that you kind of took from him as far as the weather conditions? We're possibly seeing 15% rain chances.
Yeah. So I was really curious because when I was watching the TV broadcast, the grass just looked really slick. And so I know it wasn't raining in the first half, but it was really interesting to me to listen specifically to Jerry Jones earlier this week refer to weather. And Tyler told me that it was raining before the game. So what that means is when it's raining, it's going to seep into kind of that second layer of under the grass. And so that makes it slick because you're not just talking about slippery, you're talking about slick where your cleat is going to start to get up under. So he was talking about that. He was talking about how because it had rained before the game, the ball was a little more slick than probably you thought watching the broadcast as well. Talked about that. He explained really interesting, I guess, ways that I didn't think about in terms of how rain does impact blocking. He was talking about how when jerseys or anything get a certain kind of wetness, it's really hard to pull and it's really hard to block because your hand is just going to start slipping off at a certain point. And that was really going on in the second half, he said, when it really started raining. Yes, weather wasn't as much of an impact in this previous game, but he did talk about going forward that could definitely help them come Sunday. If the weather starts to pick up again, there is a 15% chance of rain, which is almost more annoying because it's going to be a little bit more drizzly than anything else is what I'm seeing in Miami. It's been cooler for Miami temperatures that I've been keeping an eye on too, so that was interesting. I got to talk to TJ Bass a lot today. Very nice guy. And something that he pointed out, because I asked him, you just look so comfortable jumping in there. How? And I said, no disrespect, how do you feel so comfortable so quickly on the spot in the moment? Because that's a lot of pressure to go in and fill in for Zach Martin. And he said because veteran rest days are typically Wednesdays, and he always gets those snaps. When Zach is out and resting for the veteran rest days, he goes in. And so he said he feels like he builds that continuity within the offensive line every opportunity he gets during the week, which he gets a lot more than you think during the week because Zach's getting those veteran rest days Wednesday. Sometimes on Thursday he gets a little bit more, and then on Friday or Saturday when they have those walkthroughs, he's also getting to take part in that. So that's why he felt very comfortable going in at Zach's spot specifically because he's used to working between Terrence Steele and Tyler Biadasz. And so also talked to Biadasz about TJ Bass specifically, and he said, he steps in and he knows what he's doing. And so got some really good perspective from the guys on the O-line today.
Could be a huge benefit this Sunday because we could possibly not see Zach Martin. Mike McCarthy said today that they may not participate in today's practice. So it just depends on the rest of the week on how the status on them. But switching gears, we kind of have a little injury report from the ESPN Miami Dolphins reporter, Cameron Wolf. Shout out to him. He had spotted today in practice. I know that they have veteran rest days as well on Wednesdays, but a big one to note, of course, Tyreek Hill, who was injured in Week 14 against the Titans, a high ankle sprain. Xavier Howard, Raheem Mostert, Javon Holland, knees, Deshaun Elliott. So a lot of guys banged up for this Miami Dolphins team. But just talking about the possibility of seeing limited snaps from Tyreek Hill, what kind of impact would that be as far as paying off for the Cowboys?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we when you read off that list, one of the things that stands out to you the most is entire offensive line.
Yeah.
Because there's a such thing as veteran rest days, and then there's just like, I saw a clip where they asked Mike McDaniel about it. He talking about
Literally.
I said, Mike, this man is crazy. But yeah, this I'll touch on the Tyreek Hill thing, but the offensive line for the Dolphins has been extremely banged up for the last 3 weeks, and we'll get into it a little bit later. It's kind of a big deal when you talk about what they have going on. But as far as this defense, which I know the Cowboys defense we're gonna touch on today, it's gonna make a difference. I saw the tackle that Tyreek got hurt on, and it was not pretty. I wonder, did they call a horse collar? I can't remember if they called a horse collar or not. It was close, but I know that it appeared to look like almost like a horse collar. And so him coming back from a high ankle sprain, I'm sure he's getting treatment and everything, but a lot of what Tyreek does isn't even when he's not getting the ball. It's like the motion, it's the spacing he creates and the stress that he puts on your secondary. If he's not able to go, that could be huge, but they still have guys out there that can get after it. So it's something to monitor, and it's something to monitor this week because it could definitely change how this Cowboys defense comes out and plays.
Yeah, I think he's going to play. Like, he's such a big impact for the Miami Dolphins, so like I wouldn't see why not. So I do think he's going to play.
Okay. And not only that, but the Dolphins are still fighting for playoff contention. They haven't officially clinched a playoff berth like the Cowboys. They're fighting to get into their postseason spot. So not only that. What?
Nothing. Isn't it so crazy? I seen the list of the teams that have clinched, and for it to be 3 weeks,
and
and 3 weeks until the playoffs and until the season's over, and there's only like 4 teams in NFL that's clinched. Like,
3 of them NFC teams.
It's going down to the wire. I'm sorry. When you said that, it just resonated.
I thought I said something wrong. You give me that look when I mispronounce names.
No,
I
was just like, dang, ain't nobody clinched in this place.
No, what I'm saying was that the Dolphins have yet to clinch playoff contention, so this is their matchup. And you're talking about a struggling Dolphins team. Aisha, I'm glad you mentioned their O-line. You want to talk about continuity being just an advantage for the Cowboys, especially if you have Zach Martin in. Like I said yesterday, I was doing a podcast for work with Adam Beasley, and we were talking about the struggling O-line and, oh no, maybe Zach Martin's not in. And he said, I don't even want to hear it because there's been no continuity within the Dolphins offensive line really most of this season. He said they've had so many different variations of this O-line. They don't have continuity. And so what does that leak back down to? Well, that leaks back down to what Tua has to do, which we'll get into. But I do want to mention that, we talked about that before these last 6 games with the starting O-line, that continuity was an issue. They're very much so dealing with that on the other side as well.
We talked about what's at stake for this Cowboys team and the importance of last week's game, but there's also still an importance of this week's game as well against the Dolphins. Like you mentioned, there's only one team in the AFC that has clinched a playoff spot. That's the Ravens. 3 other NFC teams that have clinched a playoff spot. But when we're talking about the importance of this game, how important is it for the Cowboys to go out there and win this game? I mean,
it's pivotal. I personally think. Hot take. I think this is the most pivotal game of the season.
Ooh,
that was the quote.
I like that one.
I think it's so huge. I believe it's so huge just because you're going up against a team, again, that's scrapping and clawing just like these other teams. It's a road game. That's something you need to defeat. This is a gentleman in Mike McDaniel that is from the Shanahan, McVay type tree. So schematically, a lot of the things that they do are similar to the 49ers, who are you going to have to see down the line at some point in time. Yep. This team can run the ball as well. Run defense is something that we have questions over. Miami's stadium gets really loud. They have it's so you talk about silent count, cadence, being on time, whatever the case may be. Everything that you kind of have questions about,
we gonna see.
They're gonna be tested on.
Yeah.
And when you talk about responding and all that stuff, when you look at the offense at the beginning of the year and Mike McCarthy responding on the offensive side of the ball after that bad loss to the 49ers, I think there's some of that on the defensive side of the ball at this point in time. So you're looking for the response. You're looking for how they play on the road. You're looking for how they handle the crowd noise, maybe weather. It's just so many things that I believe that you could gain confidence in coming out of this game, or you could be looking around and being like, is this what this team is? And at that, then then there's some other discussions that have to be made. So it's a big game.
Yeah. Also, Dolphins are 6-1 at home right now.
Tater tots.
That's good.
Kind of crazy.
Tater
But yeah. So I
Oh my God.
I think that right now the Cowboys' mentality is very, I don't know. I feel it's just weird how they haven't won, or they're struggling to win at away games. So I feel like if they do go out there and win, it will be huge for how they move on, especially since they're going to have to play away during
In the
playoffs.
playoffs,
Yeah.
That's something that we were
it's
talking
huge.
about, me and Jess, like, what is the issue with road games? I mean,
I think it's just in their head.
it
It
has to
very
be.
well could be.
It has to be. I mean, we're of course not going to get a definite answer.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at sipping your coffee like that?
Because
I know, that looks spicy.
Because a big part of it is this offense is
spicy.
a big part of it too.
what
Yeah,
it
like
reminded me of.
obviously the defense has struggled, but the offense to me is a big part of it too, because they're not putting up points effectively. And I think a lot that has to do with it is the fact that when you go back and listen to that game or watch that game, you ain't hearing, here we go.
Yeah.
It changes.
It changes. The timing changes. The communication changes.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's some issues there with the communication with the offense, because even Buffalo put this offense and the wide receivers in positions where they got to read. Quarterback has to read. You got to communicate. I really wanted to, I'm probably going to ask tomorrow about hand signals and stuff like that, because maybe you have to like over communicate, because I do think communication on the road to me is a problem. I agree with you. I think it's temperament too, routine and all that, but I feel like a lot of this that's going on the offensive side is communication.
What's tea?
We said that.
We're going to dive. We're going to go ahead and take our first break, though, because we're going to get into the details of this Cowboys defense, what they have to do to contain this potent Miami Dolphins offense. We're going to take our first break. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Sean Paulette is your 2023 Cowboys Fan of the Year, and now he needs your help. Vote for Sean to be given the ultimate title of the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, by casting your vote at NFL.com/fan of the year. Go vote for our guy, Sean, please, and thanks. Are you okay?
We got a motorcycle back there producing for us.
Jazz,
You did sound like a motorcycle.
Little motorcycle. She's such a hater.
Oh my gosh, y'all are hilarious. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and dive into this Cowboys defense and this Miami Dolphins. I was thinking Bills, but I'm like, wow, it's holy. It's Week 16, girl.
It's
But
not time of the year.
Yeah.
We get it.
You take it on an offense that ranks in the top 5 in almost every category. Total offense, or total yards. They're first in passing offense. They're first rushing offense. They're fourth scoring. They're first in the NFL. And then you look at the Dallas Cowboys. We talk about this rushing defense and the problems that there are, other area of concern that is. They're 19th in rushing defense, 18th in yards per carry, allowing 4.3 yards per carry, and last in rushing success.
Yeah,
rate.
last week killed their rankings. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like they dropped like five slots after.
But I mean, when you're taking on an offense that is so explosive, they have so many weapons. How do you, I guess, contain each and every one? It's kind of hard to do that.
You do your assigned job.
Talk about it.
That's what you do. You don't have to play hero ball. You do what's right in front of you, and you go from there. And so we didn't see that on Sunday. Oh, you okay? Okay, making sure you're
coughing.
good. I didn't know if it was a sneeze or not. I didn't know if I had to say bless you. Bless you anyways. You didn't see that on Sunday against the Bills. What you saw were guys trying to compensate, and we talked about this, putting effort in the wrong spots that aren't their positions. And so in this game, an area of improvement to keep an eye out for is really seeing guys playing their own assignments and staying on their assignments. I'm interested to see how they stack the box in this matchup with how we saw the linebackers perform in this last game. I'm interested to see how they respond in that sense. So to answer your question very briefly and very to the point, you do your job and you play your assignment.
Also, I think they definitely need to be aggressive this game. Last Sunday, it just didn't seem like they were aggressive at all. I think a way to stop them from getting a lot of yards or going down the field is definitely putting hands on them, being more physical. I think that is one big thing they should be working on.
Absolutely.
She started putting hands on it. I was like,
I'm like, whoa, over here. She's making eye contact with me. What?
Nicole, you had a tweet that I saw out of Mike McCarthy's presser where he mentioned, I got you. You said, this is
your
Mike
own
McCarthy.
tweet.
I tweeted 3 times. I don't remember what.
It's okay, I got you.
Hey.
Mike McCarthy said, I don't think I've seen a team that gets the ball to the edges the way they do. And last week, you got pinned and pulled to death. To absolute death. And this team has the ability to do that. And they do, I call it decoration. So much pre-snap motion, so many things trying to get you looking in one direction or create spacing. And so to Jess's point, these gentlemen are going to have to play their assignment. And they're going to have to be very firm in their film study this week so they can trust their eyes and play with some anticipation of what's going to happen. It's important that they contain in this game, as just said, because again, they down block and they do a lot of trapping and trying to do stuff because, baby, this offensive line is struggling. And what you do when your offensive line is struggling is you try to use their athleticism and honestly just use what is it? It's not gravity. What is it? Inertia? What is it? Just basic physics. To get them going down.
A subject I did not.
I'm sorry. To get them going downhill, to get pressure, to get up on blocks, because that is going to help them. Because them going power on power is very difficult right now. So, to your point, when you talk about the rushing defense, they have A-Chain, they have Raheem Mostert. Those guys can tote the rock, but a lot of this falls into the offensive line that we were talking about. This Dallas defense is going to have to win up front, play disciplined, and play with some anticipation, as you guys were talking about.
When you look at their offensive line, of course, Teron Armstead is the one who stands out the most. He's a vet. But there's a guy, Austin, that's their right tackle. Austin Jackson, I'm sorry. He's getting beaten every single time. I saw where the Jets lined up a linebacker to kind of outplay him, physicality. Is that something where you line up maybe Micah Parsons there, or do you want him stacked in the box?
You can find favorable matchups. I think you can find favorable matchups on this offensive line. But the thing is, as just said, these guys can't just get upfield and not stay square and contain. They're going to have to rush contain, but also, too, affecting the quarterback is going to be important. I mean, obviously, we're talking about stopping the run, but affecting this quarterback is going to be huge because when he's pressured or when he's dealing with things, it makes a huge difference, and I think that's one of the only ways that you can rattle this offense and how they run things.
But he gets the ball out really fast, though. To Sorry, my bad.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Okay.
Do you need?
No, go for it. Go for it. My bad.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Definitely quarterback pressure. We know Micah Parsons is one of the best at pressuring. He has the fastest time to pressure at 2.32 seconds in 2023. So that's kind of crazy. But Yeah, I think he's going to be a big role, but if I was Miami Dolphins, they'll probably double team him. When you double team Micah Parsons, that means someone else might be open and might be able to pressure the quarterback, like Osa, or a main guy I was thinking is DeMarcus Lawrence. Did I say his name right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, just making sure. But yeah, so he's faced Miami 2 times, and he recorded 3 tackles, 2.0 sacks, 3 quarterback pressures, and 1 fumble recovery. So I think he will do really good against Miami if Micah Parsons is struggling. But he also does really good at getting out of the double coverage as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Tank is always a guy that you like. I just wish he was more appreciated. You know what I mean? Because he's a silent killer, really, for this defense. But to your point about Tua and kind of, it's so interesting. You forget how young he is. And I think he struggles with the scramble. I really do. From what I've seen, he gets the ball out fast, but he does struggle when he has that pressure put on him. So to both of your points, you need to put pressure on Tua. And you don't give him the chance to establish that passing game. Aisha, you're talking about tests all over the place. Here's your test that you can put pressure on a quarterback that is getting the ball out pretty quickly and consistently. I just think when he gets out of the pocket and starts to scramble a little bit, you have opportunity right there. I mean, talking about forced fumbles, I think this could be a game for a lot of that. And you have to get the fumble recoveries as well. What I want to see from this defense, I should say overall, is just a redemption game of getting the ball, taking it away, and scoring on it. I mean, Deron Bland, I want to see it again. I mean, pick sixes, forced fumbles, recoveries. You want to establish that dominance again. And I think this is a favorable matchup for this Cowboys defense, taking on kind of the advantage of the experience versus the younger experience that you have of Tua.
Yeah. Who concerns you all the most when you're looking at maybe Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Devon? I'm sorry, I always A-Chain.
Mostert and A-Chain?
Yes. Jalen Waddle.
No, you're okay.
But no, who concerns you the most? Because you have Tyreek Hill, who's chasing a 2,000 receiving yard season, who's only like 458 left in 3 games to finish.
I don't think he'll get there.
He needs 153 yards per game to reach the goal.
Sugar, honey.
Yeah. So. Raheem, who just set a franchise record last weekend with total touchdowns and rushing touchdowns in a single season. So who's, I guess, the most concerning for you all?
The play caller.
Oh.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's Looney Tunes. He's crazy, dog. Like, they do so much motion. My homie Koye calls it motion sickness. He said I get motion sickness.
That's a good one.
This is a creative, fun, precise timing offense. And again, they do a lot of they're first in play action. RPO. They do so much to get you off kilter and to get your defensive line or your defense in general looking other places. Just, you made a good point about the scramble drill and what they're able to do there. One thing about Tua that I noticed is that he really trusts his receivers. When I say he got some trust for them, he trusts them. The tight window throws that he will make, he can be very accurate. But to your point, Jess, when you talk about the turnovers and the possibility of turnovers, yeah, I mean, he's a guy that once he starts scrambling, he's not really trying to run as much as he used to. I think it's some of the hits that he took and obviously trying to keep his health in mind. But when he's scrambling, he will throw the ball into some tight windows, and there could be opportunities for the secondary. They're going to have to play through the whistle again, like as you were mentioning, Jess.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy how he's very consistent, especially like throwing fast. So that's really cool. But I think that everyone is kind of
scary.
Yeah.
Everybody a threat.
They're just all
right.
so fast. But if I were to say someone, if he plays, because we're not really sure, but I think he will, is Tyreek Hill, of course. Actually, I wanted to bring this up. So I saw a few weeks ago, it was a post-game interview after, I think it was Washington Commanders. He said a quote, like, he appreciates it, but, like, hold on, where is it? Sorry.
No, you're
No, you're good. Our notebooks are chaotic.
no.
Yeah, don't feel
I
bad.
have a lot. He said, I just appreciate, thanks for not respecting it. Meaning they didn't play a high safety. So he was just running down the field.
You might know something, sis.
So
There you go.
so we can see that he's very observant and he will know what is gonna happen.
Girl, you better talk that talk. Because that's one of the things that's even in my notes is that this offense and Mike McDaniel, but also Tyreek Hill, they're able to pick up tendencies. And if your defense is just coming out straight up, one of the things about the Cowboys, they play cover 1 and they play cover 3.
Yep.
And if you're just going to do that all game, they will pick up on your tendencies. Tyreek, you'll see it even in games. He's going to Tua after a play. He like, hey man, this dude is sitting flat on this flat route. Like, I'm just gonna go past him. So that's a fantastic point by you because it's right. Yeah, they pick up tendencies and they will just keep going at them. So again, when you talk about this defense, Dan Quinn is also gonna have to be multiple in how he rolls out coverage packages. Cover 3, cover 1 ain't gonna do it to this week. You're gonna have to disguise some things and get this quarterback confused in some areas or be able to trip them up in those areas. It's a fantastic point, girl.
Yeah. Where would you line up Micah Parsons in this game?
Center, right tackle.
Okay.
Take advantage of it.
Center. They lost Connor Williams and the center. And when you talk about the Cowboys play, when they play shorter quarterbacks, they've had some success. Batted balls, getting your hands out. Because you mentioned the balls coming out quick.
Oh yeah.
How do you change that? Obviously, you get pressure, but also, too, getting your hands in the passing lanes, batted balls. I think you might see some from Tank, to be honest. That's a good point. So, yeah, that's how I would do it.
Where do you think?
Where you want to line up, Micah?
Yeah.
Or where you should?
People been fighting on Twitter about
Yeah. I know. You're going to get me yelled at on Twitter.
Sorry.
You're going to get me yelled at by
Sorry.
people on Twitter.
My bad.
No, honestly, I think you kind of go back to what worked for Micah, which you go back to even last season.
Talk
and
about it, sis.
what was he? A hybrid linebacker? What did he call himself? A pass rushing linebacker is what he said. Hybrid more than anything. So here's the thing. You have a Micah Parsons where you can line him up in different spots throughout the course of the matchup.
Yeah.
Guess what that comes down to? Adjustments. If you need him in the box, you can throw him in the box. He's ready to play whenever you need him. Get him in the A-gap. But if you see opportunity with Tua scrambling a little bit more, getting the pressure on, let him rush the edges a little bit too. I don't think there's necessarily one spot he needs to be in.
That's good.
I think it just depends on how much of a run they're trying to establish because guess what? They have tape from last week that has a little bit of a secret sauce that could be the downfall to getting a victory over the Cowboys, right? So I think you do what you need to kind of assess what they're trying to do, how they're trying to attack you, and you adjust from there. You don't have to keep him in just one spot.
That's good.
Yep, I agree with that.
Bars.
You did it perfectly. That was great.
You're good. Now, this defensive line obviously struggled last weekend, giving up 266 rushing yards, and I hate the number, just sickening. But no, Mike McCarthy did mention about how Mozzie Smith in the press conference that it was a good lesson for him to learn last weekend as far as just tackling at the line of scrimmage and just trying to find ways to fight and stay in his gap. So heading into this game where we could see Mozzie Smith, again, because we don't know the status of Hankins, getting some more reps, what do you want to see from him?
I mean, honestly, from the DTs, I just need them to stay square and not get pinned inside and not get upfield too fast. Because love me some Osa to infinity, but he was so upfield so many times, and then the DTs in particular. It's not just about taking on the double team. It's how you shed and tackle after the double team, or if you have the capability to do that, or if you're single blocked, you should be able to shed and tackle.
Yeah.
And but I also too, it's a trickle down effect. Like, these linebackers are gonna have to feel with certainty. They cannot be hesitant when these DTs are working their tails off, because, I mean, a lot of people being hard on Mozzie, bro. It wasn't all bad, bro. Like, I mean, come on, my guy. Like, he's still mercy.
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean,
still learning.
Carl Davis, first game out there, he's getting his legs under him or whatever. But I think the DTs, they didn't play that bad. It's really about your edges and your linebackers and your safeties.
Yep.
That's what I think.
I think it's going to be, I think the Dolphins are going to end up running towards him.
Yes.
Winning towards who?
Mozzie, yeah,
Absolutely.
that way. So, I think he's gonna need to hold his ground and be aggressive.
Yeah, be aggressive. Yeah, no, you're right.
No, I agree. I was listening to a few podcasts today about the Dolphins, and that was one thing that they did say was that the Dolphins should take advantage of Mozzie, and they're going to. But the thing is when you're getting bullied, we talk about this all the time, what do you have to do? You have to bully right back. And if Mozzie wants to kind of establish that dominance, he has to do it early in the game. And I think that's a fantastic point that you bring up, because what we've seen is, especially when you go back on Sunday, something I noticed right away was he kind of just looked confused a little bit. There was one play where he was running out a little bit late, and now he has that under him. So now you don't have to worry about a late start. He knows what it is to be in that. That was his first start.
Yeah.
People are forgetting that was his first start of the season last week. He has those in-game reps. He now knows he can correct it. So you should see a better version of Mozzie Smith. But I also think it's fair to say the position he was drafted into is not an easy position to just step into. And that's a hard room when you're having so many veterans around you and the level of experience that you have to step into. Obviously, you're not going to see a Jonathan Hankins style player. Jonathan Hankins has how many years of experience on him?
And he told me that it took him like 3 or 4 years to feel sure about what he was seeing in a system as a DT. So,
And we always talk about how complicated this Dan Quinn scheme really is. Look, Mozzie's trying to just get his feet under him. And I'm not making excuses. I'm not being a homer. Just being realistic. Like, he's trying to get in football shape. He's trying to understand what everything is around him, because for these first-year players, we heard Tyler Smith talk about yesterday how much actually goes into it, where maybe people forget you haven't been here as long, and there's some kind of terminology that they use, and they expect you to know. I mean, there's so many different factors here. Give him some grace. I think you're going to see a better version of Mozzie Smith. This will be his second NFL start. He should learn, and he's going to. But, geez, people, quit being so grinchy around Christmas.
Yeah, no, I
Drives me nuts.
I completely agree with you all. I mean, that's basically what we said about Terrence Steele. Give them some grace, you know. Well, Terrence is obviously in a different position, but this is a kid that's still developing and growing and learning this position. So definitely want to give him some grace. But if you had to compare this Miami team's speed to any other team the Cowboys have seen in the NFL, and they've played in the NFL, who would you compare them to?
Say it again.
I'm sorry. It's distracting her.
No, you're fine. If you had to compare this Miami team's speed to another team that we've seen in the NFL, played in the NFL, or that we've seen in the NFL, who would you compare them to? Schematically, we of course know this is like the 49ers team, but the speed that you've seen on this team, what is it like?
I don't know if it's comparable. I can't think of anybody who's had it that was this fast.
I feel like it's a new kind of matchup.
It is. It's a new. It's a new speed, but again, like it's also really a lot of the play caller, and they're just the play caller is young.
Yeah.
So he just looks at stuff and he's like, you know what? Like, I think somebody told me that he had them looking at Allen Iverson cross-up moves for the wide receivers.
Really?
He's a Looney Tune. But at the same time, of course, because even Brandon Cooks told me that playing basketball keeps him good at route running. He does things in a unique way. I'm telling you, it was a really fun film watching him, because he's relatable to his players, and he does things that helps them understand. But the speed, isn't it?
It's so interesting,
isn't it? But the speed is. I don't know if personally, and again, I'm still fairly new to the football world. I don't know if I've seen offensive speed like this before. Have you guys?
No, that's what I was trying to see. If
and the
see
usage of it is unique. It's unique. So
I think in the receiving game, this is a new matchup. But obviously, you're talking about a run game. My head went straight to 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, that whole thing. I think with the receiving game, specifically with this wide receiver group that you have in Miami, it's different. It's going to be a different matchup, and it's going to be a different test, but it is a test that you need. We've been talking about how the safeties specifically have been struggling a little bit. This is your test. This is your test to really wrap some bows and cross your T's, dot your I's, because if you can successfully detour this Miami wide receiver room, you should feel pretty confident heading into the postseason.
And was there an update on Malik Hooker today?
He was not. From what reporters could see, because practice was open when we started the podcast, he was dressed out. He's doing mental reps, but
because that could be huge when you talk about. I don't think that you can just put a single high safety up there. I don't think that you can just run your cover 3 like you normally do with the disguises and stuff. You may need your quarterback of the defense back out there. All love to Wanye, but Malik Hooker has been doing this a minute.
Yeah.
He's worn the green dot for a reason. His intelligence is something that I think could be important in this game. And this team also, too, when you talk about the receivers, they're not just speed guys. They can run routes well. And also, too, they block downfield.
Yep.
They block downfield, bro. When you look at some of the best offenses in the league, they have receivers who are selfless and will block downfield. So, again, just to your point, safeties, corners, those guys are going to have to come up and tackle as well. That's something that Philly did very well against them, is that they didn't get a lot of yak.
Yeah.
They sure tackled them, and you have to.
I love my yak.
Baby. We know it. We know it.
According to Michael Gilkin, he tweeted out that Malik Hooker was not practicing today. He was taking mental reps and drills, which include perimeter pursuit in preparation for Dolphin speed on offense. Thanks, Gilkin, for the tweet.
This is a big deal. I know y'all think it, like, I'm for real. This is a big deal for that side of the ball specifically, like for the defense. This is a big deal, like, for a team that does really similar, like they do the same thing defensively as far as coverages and stuff. For them to have to, I want to see if Dan's gonna change up, because we were talking about adjustments last game. He got to adjust.
Were the adjustments in the room with us?
Are they?
We'll see.
I pray. I'm gonna put them. Grandma,
Can you tell your grandma to put adjustments on the prayer list, please?
You stupid.
Adjustments. She gonna be like, well, why do I gotta put that on there? What does that mean? Just put it on there, Grandma.
Please, Grandma. You're our only hope.
All right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and take our second break. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The 2023 Bob Lilly Award, honoring Cowboys legend Bob Lilly. This award showcases the highest level of achievement, sportsmanship, dedication, and leadership. Vote for the current Dallas Cowboy who you think exemplifies these traits now at DallasCowboys.com/Bob Lilly Award.
Woohoo!
Good stuff.
All right, y'all, let's go ahead and play a Gizzy game.
What is that?
What was that noise?
I was trying to say woohoo, but my voice cracked.
That was so...
It was ashy. I'm sorry.
It gave Gremlin.
It was ashy.
It gave Gremlin.
Yes.
It really did.
All right, y'all, we got a game on the line.
Oh,
All right, let's go.
Literally.
let just choose first.
So since Christmas is on the way, right? You know,
Ha ha ha. I'm so
haha, Santa's naughty or nice list.
Love that.
Y'all used to have to do that. Well, your parents, like, growing up.
Yeah. And I did see a meme the other day that was like, if anybody else gets cold, let's just get together for a cookout because what else are we going to do if we were on the naughty list?
It's kind of sad.
Okay.
Oh, because of the coals.
Yeah, because the coals for the grill.
It took me a second.
Yeah,
I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Man.
It wasn't wah wah wah.
Nicole didn't like that.
But no,
Jazzy! Jazzy.
I'm dead.
You know what, Jazzy?
No, Jazzy stay hating for real.
She does. She does.
Sorry. All right, this is called naughty or nice.
Okay.
So basically, we're gonna choose from the Cuppy Cup.
Okay.
And whatever
Post-it
name,
cup.
whatever name you pick, you have to say whether or not they're naughty or nice, as far as like being a threat to this Cowboys defense.
Okay.
Okay.
You wanna go? Okay.
No, let Jess go first.
Why do I gotta go first?
I don't know. I just want to put the pressure on you.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
You know what they say about pressure? It makes diamonds.
It's plus nice.
Yeah. Okay. I sound like some ASMR again. Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Him.
I mean,
Him.
obviously he's a threat. Like, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to think about this matchup. How I want to go about this.
No, you good.
Obviously he's on the naughty list.
Yeah, of course.
For being a threat. Hold on. I'm trying to find this stat that I saw earlier, actually. Come back to me.
Yeah,
Come back to me.
Here, I don't know if this can help you. Season high, 142 yards on 8 receptions last week against the Jets.
I was looking for
He
his
stepped
stuff
up big for
against the
Tyreek
Jets.
Hill.
I think depending on Tyreek's injury status, like you've been talking about, it's going to be a little more involved here.
Yeah.
I'm just interested to see who would be on him. Aisha, who do you think would be on that matchup?
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. Who takes him?
How tall is he?
I don't know. Would it be Duran or would it be Stephon?
It would probably. I think Duran would be more
He's 5'10",
suited.
5'10", 182.
Duran would be more suited,
Yeah.
speed wise, but that's safety. Whoever your safety is, that's the
Yeah.
real matchup between him because he's a big play, deep threat
Yeah.
type guy.
I mean, obviously naughty list, but I guess I'm just interested to see how they would scheme around him, because that's going to be the counterpunch, right?
And he's and to your point, you mentioned that he had a big day last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Just play a lot of zone, but also too with Tyreek being out, it depends. I think it is going to be contingent on whether Tyreek plays or not. 'cause
Even
you
if
could
he
definitely
does
see a
play,
uptick.
though, he could take a little bit less of a role and see
that's
Jalen kind of take a little bit more. So.
Yeah. I expect
Speed.
him to get the ball to be a focal point to that point. So it's an important matchup, girl.
I'm pretending I'm fast like
She
that.
makes me so sick.
You want to go?
What y'all aren't seeing this right now.
Just what in the...
I'm big fast.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right.
I'm here to entertain people. You're welcome. Nicole, specifically.
Who you got?
I got Tyreek Hill.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
It's fate.
It was.
No, I'm kidding. Naughty. Definitely naughty. But I mean, we've talked about him the whole time here, but everyone knows why. Definitely a threat for the Dallas Cowboys.
Aisha.
My thumb is trapped. Once I take it, I'm gonna take it so because it's your turn to draw. Mushy.
Stupid.
Muffins.
Oh,
Who
no.
got?
Devin A-Chain.
Oh.
The running back. He's extremely naughty.
Yeah.
Very naughty in these streets, especially given that he attacks the edges on a serious level. He runs with power. He can cut back on a dime. Again, we talked about these safeties, these linebackers, the DTs. You want them to play well, but these linebackers and these safeties, if they're going to be playing linebacker, have to flow to the ball, be decisive, and really fill the C gap and make some plays behind the line of scrimmage with these guys. You know, don't allow them to just keep bouncing to the outside and attack the edge because they will do that.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best at doing that.
He kind of reminds me of not as good as James Cook from the Bills as far as like route running.
Receiving, I would say receiving, but A-Chain is the better runner.
But yeah, for sure. I think he can definitely.
There's similarities in the game.
Yeah, his
You're right.
route running is actually pretty solid.
Okay, yeah. It's your turn, sis. Oh, I put mine back in there. Tater tots. Okay, there it is. Go, sis. Go, sis. Go, sis. Go. Go, sis.
Let's see what this
Go,
is.
sis. Go, sis. Sis.
Raheem. No,
The same thing.
I'm going naughty for sure. Yeah, I mean basically same thing. He's explosive. I would consider him at least top 3 of the running backs that we face.
And he's played
Definitely
for Shanahan.
Yeah.
He's played some of these.
Yeah. He played for the 49ers, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
And who else?
I'm tired of seeing this. Tired of seeing his ass. Jesus.
Oh my God.
He keep every time he go to a team, he good. I'm sick of seeing him.
She gonna get us cut off.
Oh, you can say the A
I'm just
word.
playing.
Right.
But yeah, no, he's been on 5 teams.
That's all right.
Also, obviously has the veteran experience in playing in good offenses. So yeah, definitely extremely naughty on that list. All right, real quick, score prediction.
Already? We gotta do this
Thursday?
now.
I mean, yeah, we can do it today and tomorrow.
It's not Thursday.
So we did okay, Lydiana. We'll get yours since we're gonna get y'all's tomorrow.
Yes. On
Oh
Thursday.
shoot! Wait, I need.
Exactly.
It's okay. It's okay. Quick score prediction. Who you think you got?
Oh shoot! Well, no, I have to know what y'all are gonna say.
No, you don't.
Don't do her like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, because like we're gonna do ours tomorrow.
Why don't we
How
do-
about I say definitely? I think it's gonna be a high number.
Okay.
Okay, high
What if
score
we
number.
do who has a good game?
You think
Like
it's
pick
gonna
a
be
player.
Let's do
Well,
that.
like in 30s, high 30s.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know.
Let's do instead. Hold on. Let's do
Who's gonna have a big game?
who you expect to have a big game.
Yeah.
Either team.
Who's having a big game?
Wait, do I have
Let's
to
start
go?
with Aisha.
No, I.
Oh,
Come on, guys.
Who's gonna have a big game?
It could be Dolphins or
Cowboys.
I got you. I know who I'm going with. Raheem.
Okay.
I'm
That's
going
quick.
with Dolphins. Raheem.
What
Mostert.
injury is he dealing with?
The injury report's not out yet, from what I
No, I
was
was about to say,
looking
I don't
for.
Because he
Hang on,
didn't practice
injury
today either, so I think it matters if he dealing with an ankle or something as a running back. I'm like,
Well,
All right. Well,
okay.
I'll still go
So
him.
you going
Yeah, I'll still
Raheem?
go Raheem.
okay.
Well, who you got, Jess?
Who I think is going to have a big game in this game? Jake Ferg. I think you're going to see the return of the Ferg in this game. His physicality, his yak ability, you needed in this game. And I think, CD's obviously going to have a productive game as well. But I'm going to go for Jake having a good game. Talking to him in the locker room today, you could just see the focused Ferg in motion, ready to get the bad taste out of his mouth from last week. So I'm going Ferg.
You got Honey Bun.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I'll go with the Dolphins.
Okay.
I will say a chain. Yeah.
You think A-Chain's gonna have a big game?
Yeah.
That hurts me. But no, you're
right.
Yeah.
I think you will have a big game.
I think it was just there. It just was in my head who I thought was gonna have a big game. Oh, I think also Diggy Zua bounces back big this game. Shows what he's been doing for the majority of the season, and he comes out and plays well. Again, that interior of the Miami defense has been offensive line has been compromised, and I think the defense will really attack the center and the interior. Also, Diggy Zua is my guy I'm picking for right now.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, that's a wrap for today's show. Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!